So right now we are in front of the maquettes for the whole temple. So guys, you could look, see how big that is. You know, it's massive, huge, and it has more than entrance. Okay, for sure we will like show like where's the entrance we're gonna start with. But as we mentioned, the one we are heading to, we're starting with, it's considered the oldest part, you know, the newest part of the temple. Because anyway, the temple started from, as we mentioned, from inside to outside, not from outside to inside. Okay? I mean, they started by the Holy of the Holies, because that's the main part of the temple. Then they start building the Hypostyle hall. Then they keep building, you know. That's why, this is the reason why sometimes you find more than Hypostyle. Well, there is first one done by a pharaoh, then another one comes, make another one in front, then comes another one adding the open courtyard, then another one maybe come adding another courtyard. That's why this is the reason why sometimes you find, especially for temples made for the gods. But if it's mortuary temple, it's gonna be for just one pharaoh. That's why, as we see in Hatshepsut, it's just for Hatshepsut. That's why all of it is back to her time. You know, except some of the defacing happened, but anyway, it's back to her time. Ramesseum, Ramses II, Tabu Temple, Ramses II. That's why. An open courtyard, and then the Hypostyle hall, then the Holy of the Holies. But temples made for great God. That's why, you know, right now, so this the enter we are going to use right now by little Sphinxes has not a human head, but it's gonna be a ram, and we're gonna explain why. Then the high, so we're gonna start by the high, so the pylon, which is unfinished. We're gonna have, like used to have, look how many pylons, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, 5, 6, you know. So this, sorry, this is the entrance we're gonna include, this one. Not this. This is that's made by Hornhut, but over here this is the one we're gonna start with. Okay, that's why this used to be for the Harka. There is only one of those columns are left. You know, this like already the maquette is including everything how it should be. While mostly you are not gonna see some of those stuff. It's not still standing anymore, such as the Hypostyle by Taharka. There is only one, this column is the only one is left, this one. But the rest is not still standing. For sure the flags is not here. We see 4 obelisks here. There is 2 of them still standing. Okay, the other is not. Those 2, you know, 3 obelisks there, they are not here. You know that we are very friendly. We share a lot of our stuff. Do you know why all of that sharing? Because you remember Egypt stays without Egyptian ruler for a couple thousand years. That's why some of, like Ottoman Empire as an example, they felt we are not a part of this history. That's why they don't care to give a real original antiquarian piece gifted to any country. Why? We want to keep the relationship with the country. That's why, okay, no problem. Give them something because they feel they are not a part of that history anyway. By the way, you see that you know, blue thing there? What is this? Swimming pool? No, holy lake or sacred lake. You know, the sacred lake or the holy lake, where already the priests and the pharaohs they used to wash themselves in it before they start to make the praying and the ceremony and the rituals. This is called the Holy Lake or the Sacred Lake. By the way, it still has water even today. We used to fill it by the water, the groundwater, you know, or if it's far, you know, it doesn't have a groundwater, they fill it with the water coming from the flood of the Nile River. Okay? I mean, Nile is holy river. More water coming, it's mere gift from the God. That's why it's more holy water. They use it to fill the, you know, the holy lake. By the way, this is the biggest one being discovered all over Egypt. is the biggest, hugest one, because that temple dedicated to the greatest god Amun-Ra. Okay. Next to the temples, as I'm gonna show you in Edfu temple, priests, they stay in the temple, but they're not living in the temple. In the side of the temple, they made also like kind of houses made out of mud. Okay, mud brick. Used to live in. Why? Because already once you live in a place, you have to cook. Could you imagine you're gonna cook inside the temple? No, it's kind of respect. You're not gonna do this. Bathrooms. It's not gonna be in the temple, you know? That's why they live inside the temple. They do daily praying and daily ceremony, give daily offering, but already, you know, they live outside the temple, not inside the temple, but beside the temple. Let's move from there, looking at some amazing photos for the temple before the restoration. Right now, this is the map of the whole temple. So right now we're gonna start from here, moving, through a bit, start Sphinxes, a part of the Sphinx way, and which is made by Ramses II, and then the pylon made by Nekhti. Then the open courtyard, we're gonna see some stuff in. That's a separate temple for Ramses III. Made a temple inside the temple. That's why he goes in a different axe of the temple to build a separate temple to himself. Okay, for the god Amun-Ra, but it's separate. Even they build the axis goes like this, but you see later on they go like this. Why? Already they want to add something and there is no more space. That's why they decided to go on the sides. And this is the reason why that temple became so massive, huge. Why? Everyone want to add something. You imagine for more than couple thousand years, every ruler want to add something in that temple. Okay? Over here you start to see so the photos during the restoration and before the restoration. That's why you see how even the flooding of the water. You see the columns are the Hypostyle hall, which is made by Seti the first, father of Ramses II, decorated during the time of Ramses, half of it, but the beginning of the building, Amenhotep III. Okay, and like you see some of like the beginning of, you see how they move one solid block, and imagine how they have done that. So imagine that project is 1925. Could you imagine thousands of years ago? See how many ropes and wooden scaffolds and how many people could work in one piece of a stone. Think about thousands of years ago how they have done that. I think it's amazing. Tells in ancient times there's a very big technology. For some now we miss it. So by the way, also the temple has a cachet. Why? Priests, they worry about the most important things in a temple. They find enemies comes and attacking and they steal the original things. That's why they got an idea to hide most important things. They discovered, I think around 7,000 statues made out of bronze, and about 300 ones made out of stones, and all of them has moved later to the Egyptian museum. Okay? Guys, by the way, now we start to see Sphinxes come to your right and left hand side, which is already made by Ramses I. Sorry, Ramses II, Ramses II, 19th dynasty, New Kingdom, around 1279 BC. As we mentioned, he stays in power for 67 years. He decided to add dozer, but already this was a long Sphinx way, because when we pass that pylon, you will see the rest of the Sphinxes, why they take 4 of them and place them in Tahrir Square. What happened, the revolution in protesting, because they want to make Tahrir Square same as the most famous squares in the other countries. Get something old and antiquities, so they bring an obelisk for King Ramses II was in one of the cities in the Nile Delta called Tanis, was the capital of Egypt during 21st, 22nd dynasty. And they brought 4 of those Sphinxes with the ram head, put them around this. That's why we're gonna see this when we're gonna see the Egyptian museum in downtown Cairo, Tahrir Square. By the way, why the ram head? Why we decided to use the ram head? By the way, the ram is the sacred animal of the god Amun-Ra. That's why we choose the ram to be the sacred animal of the god Amun-Ra. Ancient Egyptians, before they discovered the Nile Valley, they used to live in a desert, searching about water, moving from place to place, searching about water. Whenever they find a spring of water, they stay next to it. Whenever this, well, or the spring finished, they move to somewhere else. That's why they never build anything before they discover the Nile Valley. Why? Why are you gonna build something while already you know later you will be moving to somewhere else? So let's be in the shade. We mentioned they didn't build anything. Why? Because they knows later on you will be moving to somewhere else. But when they discover the Nile Valley, they start building the civilization, building the temples, building the stuff. Why? Because they know that's a freshwater right now, so you're not gonna be moving to anywhere else. But let's see. Back in that time, they search about water, but how you know there is water here in a desert? By the way, they figure out something. The only kind of animal can smell the water from a long distance, the ram. That's why they let the ram walking. When the ram smells water, stop. They dig, they find water. That's why imagine water, I believe, is the only way to survive. So we cannot live without water. That's why they find out they have to worship the animal, show them the way to survive, the way to still alive. That's why this is the reason why they choose the ram to be the sacred animal of the god Amun-Ra, because the god is the only one, protect you and give you the life. That's why this is the reason why they choose the sacred animal of the god Amun-Ra to be the ram. That's why this is the reason any sphinx you see it anywhere else, blind body with a human head, as the Sphinx in Giza. But here is not a human head but a ram head, because that temple made for the god Amun-Ra. About the name Karnak, this why? Like the city or the little town around the temple here, it's known as Karnak. Town. That's why they call the temple Karnak. Or some people they said maybe that's during the Arab time as well. It comes from like a Persian word Khawarnak, which means like the city which has like a big huge fortress, because they believe that seemed like a fortress. But anyway, it's ancient Egyptian name Ber Amun, which means the house of the god Amun. Okay, that's why that seems like the house of the god Amun. You see right now the pylon. This is the first pylon, by the way, that made by Nebuchadnezzar, as we said, the last Egyptian pharaoh. Okay, 350 BC. By the way, this is considered the biggest one all over Egypt. If they get a chance to finish it, I think it's going to be the hugest. What comes after that? The one right in front of 8th. explore it tomorrow in the early morning. The second biggest pylon all over Egypt after Karnak will be it. But here it's unfinished, but you see the same idea, you know, like the windows, the open square windows with the vertical groups. That is made, as we said, to tighten the flags. By the way, some people said, okay, but how it should look? You seen that in the maquette, but you know, I'm gonna show you a record for how the pylons should look like exactly 100% in Luxor temple, our next visit, because there is a scene on the walls for how it's supposed to look like for the pylons. Okay, during the festival, so they put some scenes and drawing for the pylon, including the flags. Okay, that's why that makes sense. Will make sense to see that scene there, because it will make sense how it should look like here with the obelisks in front, and you know, for sure, you know, there is a tiny small obelisk, like a part of small obelisk there. Because by the way, how big the obelisk is, it depends on something. The obelisk has to be one solid piece of stone, no one single crack on it. That's why sometimes when they start to disassemble it from the quarries, happen a crack. That's why they start to skip the crack and make it smaller. That's why that's the reason why the different sizes, because it depends on how you could make it as one solid piece and no cracks. And we will explain why that, you know, idea, why it, you know, has to be one solid piece. This is Pharaoh's name, Seti II. Seti II. Okay, you know, that's so the 20th dynasty. Okay, but not the 19th, because some people also got confusing. Seti first, Seti second will be his son. No, Seti the first, his son is Ramses the second. Okay, Seti the second that came way after, you know, in 19th dynasty. But anyway, way after. I mean, let's say so. Seti the second, the son of Merenbetah, son of Ramses the second. Okay. That is 19th dynasty. So right now, guys, so please get your tickets. Show it to the gentleman here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, welcome. Oh, what is this mud? The ascending ramp. So we made like a ramp, dragging the stones. Starting by the first layer, then ascending ramp. So add the second layer, then makes the ramp bigger. That's why, you know, great, you know, this pylon left unfinished to give us that idea. You know, this is how they make like a mud, you know, ramp made out of mud. And you start like building, then you start to smooth from up to bottom and start seeing the outer lines from up to bottom as well. That's why, you know, this is how they make the pylons. That's a very great record to give you about how they got the idea creating the pylon, or building such a big, huge pylon like that in ancient time, because it left unfinished. That's why, you know, it's still like smoothing a little part from the top, but you know, it's still not finished, because that's why great idea left us that, you know, ascending ramp made out of mud. This also the rest place or the rest house for the three gods, or the main gods of the temple, or the holy parts. What they used to, as we mentioned, you know, the priestess, they walk all the way through Sphinx Way. They need a rest, so for sure they're not gonna rest the parks right in the middle of, you know, on the ground or right in under the sun. But that's why they have this made by Seti II, son of Merenbetah, the son of Ramses II. I mean, let's say the grandson of Ramses II, 19th dynasty. Over here, you see, your guys, to your right and left hand side there. That's what the rest of the Sphinxes. It means what? Makes logic. Those Sphinx used to be right here, not right there. You know, used to be here. But there is two people, they push it away. Who? First one, a Nubian pharaoh, his name is Taharka. His name comes in the Bible, you know. He wanna add something. Okay, sorry, Ramses II. I don't have a space here, so please, I'm not gonna destroy your stuff, but I'm gonna push your Sphinxes away from the way to get a space. Building those beautiful columns would already fell off and destroyed, and there is only one, just the one right in front of us is the only one still standing. You see some bases of the others around you here, but this is the only one still standing, you know, made by the Nubian pharaoh Taharka, 21st dynasty. But that's why this is the first one. Second one later, 30th dynasty. He want to add his pylon. He want to build something as well. That's why more of the Sphinxes pushed him away. Seti II, after Ramses II, push Sphinxes away as well. That's why, like, you know, some others try to get a space. It's everything is packed here, so that's why, sorry, gonna like push your stuff away, get a space building something or adding something in that amazing temple for Ramses, you know, for the god Amun-Ra. That's a beautiful, what these seems like a baby pictures. That's Tutankhamun.
Oh, wow.
There is a funny thing that Tutankhamun during his time, he made all of the statues by his own features, even if he's a god. Make it by his own feature. Because they find all of those statues and it seems like, you know, like a dolls for him and like a, you know, something, he seems like a game. That's why he loves to see his scenes everywhere. That's why he made all of the statues. As here, the Sphinx made out of the stone alabaster and used to be offering the one of the canopic jars. You know, it contains the internal organs.
Why did they build through this side rather than the outside?
Because already the other sides is older, you know. They said the temple is starting from inside, guys, the temple starting from inside to outside. You can be in a shade, it's nice breeze here, come closer. By the way, temple started from inside to outside. That's why we said here, 30th dynasty.
Yeah.
As you start getting inside, it gets like, as we said, Taharka, you know, here, you know, 21st dynasty. So, I mean, it's older.
What I was wondering was about the ramp.
Yes.
Why is the ramp on the inside and not on the outside?
Because already the pylon, you have to smooth it from inside and outside, and you put scenes from inside and outside. Okay. If you look at the full photo, you've seen it for during the restoration. One of the photos, it shows also used to be mud at the front as well, but it's been like, you know, gone and destroyed later by the water and the groundwater, flood of the groundwater. That's why it's melted, you know, the mud, it doesn't survive, but used to have mud as well, you know, because they smooth it from outside and inside. And also put scenes from inside and outside. I mean, like, you know, from the both side they put scenes. As you could see, like behind you here, that's the temple of Ramses III, 20th dynasty, the founder of the 20th dynasty, Ramses III. We see in his temple, you know, Hapu temple, or famous by Madinat Hapu, and we see in his, you know, a tomb in the Valley of the Kings, Ramses III. And as I mentioned, we're gonna see his mummy at the National Civilization Museum. He's been assassinated. Okay, that's why when Ramses III comes, already he comes after, right after Amenhotep III and Ramses II, and even after Seti II. That's why you find it seems like there is so much stuff around you here. So he felt he cannot push something for Ramses II away. Why? He called himself Ramses III to say, I'm the generations of Ramses II. You know? That's why this is the reason why, by the way, he called himself Ramses III. Because he's not already, we said Ramses II, 19th dynasty, 1279 BC. But Ramses III, founder of the 20th dynasty. But he decided to call himself Ramses to say, I'm from the generations of Ramses II. You remember in Hapo temple, I show you that he's praying for the main gods, and behind them, Ramses II himself. You remember that scene? Yes.
Of course.
I'm just
I hope.
nodding.
That's why, that's why for sure he cannot do as Taharqa have done. He cannot do as, as even later on Nechtenepo have done, because he respects Ramses II that much. That's why he decided, the Sphinx way of Ramses is right here. So we cannot add something here. That's why this is the reason push him to go in a different acts of the temple and build a temple inside the temple. Okay? That's why you see, that's why you see here, it's a temple started as a temple inside the temple. It started by pylon. And the pylon used to be smooth. Already, let's do it and rebuild again. But it's a pylon. It already contains the scenes as here to your right hand side, Ramses III wearing the lower crown, red crown of lower Egypt, the north, okay? And catch the enemies from the hair, and he's ready to punish them right in front of the man with the two feathers, the god Amun-Ra. He's the king of the gods, but also in a new kingdom became even the god of war as well. Same as Sekhmet, the female lion. That's why you see the Amun-Ra is passing a knife. Seems like beat them all. Okay? Why? They are enemies attacking the country. So that's why, okay, kill them all. That's why I see the pharaohs catch all of them from the hairs, ready to smash them. To the other side, to your left hand side, the pharaoh himself, but in a white crown, the upper crown, South of Egypt crown, or the southern crown, catch the enemies as well from the hair, ready to smash them in front of the god Amun-Ra. I mean, he made a turn in the north by the north crown and the south by the upper crown to set up the pharaoh of upper and lower together. Then you find two standing statue of the Pharaoh Ramses III himself, showing you the Pharaoh wearing the double crowns of upper and lower, and the Pharaoh of upper and lower, standing by left leg forward. So, what is the meaning of standing by left leg forward? That's life standing. It means symbol of life, yes. First, statue show you the king still walking, he's still moving, so he's still alive. Second, left side means heart. Follow your heart, and heart symbol of life. Third, look for any military, any army. Oh, soldier, they stop the steps with left leg. So guys, they said left, right, left. So that means, like an army step or like a military step, symbol of strength, powerful, and strength. So this is the meaning, standing by left leg forward. But if you find a statue standing with the both legs together, it means dead standing, the statue made after the pharaoh died, or symbol of the god Osiris would be semi-Osiris style, to join the god Osiris, the leader of the underworld and a paradise. Arms next to the body, symbol of life. The arms are crossed, Osiris way, so that's symbol of the afterlife. False beard. False beard, symbol of reality and power. We said false beard, yes, because pharaohs used to shave. That's why this is not a real one. That's a false beard or the artificial beard. It's a symbol of reality and power. But if it's straight, symbol of life. If it had a little curve from down, symbol of afterlife. Why? Straight symbol of life, life keep going. Little curve. So life finished and you start to go backwards for the afterlife. Okay, that's why it's not just decorations, but every single thing has a symbol, meaning for it. Okay? After that, you will start the open courtyard with the Hypostyle hall. With the open courtyard with the semi-Osiris statues of Ramses III. After that, you will find the Hypostyle hall. Then finally, the Holy of the Holies with some rooms around to keep. And this is symbol the offerings, because they're not gonna put all of the offering in one place. So you cannot put wheat with meat, or chickens was something else. So this is simple. Okay, essential oil here. That's for plants. That's for seeds. This, that's why this every time you will see a lot of rooms around the height. So the holy of the holies. That's to keep, that. So right now, let us move to see one of the master scenes. Here. Then we will be back to our route, but we will. See guys, the pharaoh behind him, the high priest. You see the animal skin. You see the hair of the animal skin.
Yeah.
Seen it?
Yeah.
This is the high priest, the pharaoh, but the pharaoh suckling milk from that. You want that? Yes.
Oh wow.
So, أيوة ما أنا هقولها هو. Group 3, I know it's hot, but it's one of the master scenes. You've seen it yesterday in the presentation, and I think it will make sense to see the real thing right in front of you here. Where is the pharaoh known as in hieroglyphics by Shoshenq, or comes in his name in the Bible, Shishak, which is very similar. By the way, so here is the god Amun Ra. Okay, while already the same idea. This be the scene of the pharaoh here. Shoshenq is catching the enemies, from the hair and to like different type of enemies. Offer them to the god Amun Ra, while the god Amun Ra is already catching robes, tightening all of the enemies, behind him. You see the arms are tied behind. The names, this is not cartouche, like some people say cartouche. No, hold on. Cartouche for the pharaoh himself. Nobody else can put his name inside a cartouche. You remember what I explained in Hapu Temple? Even his sons, the only ones get into the names of countries and like cities, towns, and empires. While we see that, like you see that, so broken piece, 1, 2. Go guys for the 2 that this one is. If I'm gonna start reading the hieroglyphics, 1 feather is E, but 2 feathers is Y. So that means Y. The young chicken is the letter U. So U. The hand is D. So U. That's AH. So Yuda. So Yuda. So yeah.
Judah.
So, yeah. So we're now it's a Judah now. So is the Jewish empire, like give them even one. No, second one. This one is. Okay.
Is Shoshenq's
The female underneath right here?
This is, the goddess Mut, but she's also like leading because the Pharaoh, so the god Amun-Ra, then his wife Mut, supposed to be underneath Khonsu, them son. I mean the 3 main gods of the temple. Okay, but so the scenes are broken, into pieces because there used to be like a layer of plaster, and they also made it over the walls. That's why it's been destroyed. Hardly during the restoration they try to take the stones and the layer of plaster to stick it into the same place or its place. That's why some of it is already messing and being destroyed totally. That used to be Amun-Ra, his wife Mut, underneath will be Khonsu, them son. They are offering all of the cities to Ramses III, because the Shoshenq or Shishak, that's why all of them offering them, even while he's smashing enemies in front of them as well. But you see all of them, they has the robes, tightening all of those people, okay? That's why we said, so Judah is here, okay. You get something else? Yes, here, Pa. Pashmun. So it's also like one of the cities as well. So Pashmun. So
Why are they in the cartouches?
not, as we said, there's not a cartouche. That's just to circle to say this is the name
Is
of the
Shishak's
town.
cartouche up there though?
I think has been destroyed because the title of him is here, whereas Jet, we said here that used to be Neb. Neb, it means like, like a lord. Here that's me, it means as, and eternity, Jet, J-T, Jet, eternity as Ra. So that's, I mean the cartouches used to be here, but and it just...
And what's it sorry?
Whose cartouches are up there?
Yes, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
And what did you say the one was above Yehuda?
Pashmun. Okay? About this one?
No, it's fabulous.
Like, get through that. God, if you can get through that offering, that's why, it's better like when you see the real thing live right in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
After the presentation, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yes, yes. It's another layer, isn't it, of memory?
Karnak, we've seen a lot of those grabbing the hair. Does that mean anything particular, or is it just a...
It's already because, as we said, in ancient time there is no TV.
Yeah.
So how the Pharaoh could show off the propaganda, could show off what he'd have done. Because maybe he heard, but he cannot see it. That's why only way to improve this on the pylons, because even this, the commoners can see the pylons, because they cannot enter the temple. That's why but he can see. They can see the outer walls. Okay? That's why this is the reason why they put the scenes and even relationship between the god and the Pharaoh and the god and goddess, because that's how they can, show off the power of the Pharaoh, the control of the god Amun-Ra. God Amun-Ra protect me. That's why he decided instead of the beard, he put his own statue underneath of the head of the ram, sacred animal of God Amun-Ra. But hardly when we see some cartouches, not the name of Ramses. Why? Because Ramses, as he done that, someone else have done the same thing for him. Chiseling his name, put his name on it.
Rubbed him out.
Yeah. Ba-Nijm, he takes a lot of stuff of Ramses II and put his name on it. As the statue right in front of me right here, guys. That statue is being found under during they make a restoration for the next pylon, already supposed to be built by who? Amenhotep III.
Oh, wow.
But do you know who the decoration and the scenes? Ramses II.
Oh.
So, built by Amenhotep III, but Ramses II is like, that's beautiful. So he put his name on it, got it for himself. That's why, see, he have done that a bad thing. I think so the God says, okay, what you have done, also someone else will do the same thing for you. That statue being found, by the way, it took a photo by the satellites. It gave us there is something underneath of the pylon. Big, huge statue, because everything was collapsed. That's why they uncover it. They find, yes, that big one right in front of us.
Were they all painted?
When they uncover it, sorry?
Were they all painted? It was everything painted in those lovely
Everything, yes, is painted, but it's hardly sometimes because of, it's gone because of the water coming from the flood or the groundwater, yes. Yeah, most of the temples already are decorated and colored, but the colors sometimes gone because of years, because of erosion, such as the water and the groundwater. But let's see, when they uncover it, they find the name written on it, Ba-Nijm. That's why they said, the statue for Ba-Nijm. But let's see, the statue for Ramses II, because even the name of, the lady is Bennett Ainat, which is already one of the daughters of Ramses II himself. That's why that tells that statue of Ramses II in a semi-Osiris way. But as he have done that for some other pharaohs, Banejim decided to do the same thing for Ramshan. He used to put his name or everywhere on the statue to make it hard. You know, if you want to take this one for yourself, you have to scratch all of those cartouches. If you will destroy all of it, you will destroy the statue itself. That's why. But in some others, he put his name once, and that's easy. Remove that one and put a new, you know, cartouche on it. That's why that took by Banejim, but it originally belonged to Ramses II himself. It's made originally, as we mentioned, originally by Amenhotep III. But Ramses II, his comes his name on it. Is the only one I've done that. If you look down there, Ptolemy. Ptolemy, you know, Ptolemy. Because by the way, in hieroglyphics, it's a phonetic language. I mean, there is no silence, you know, letters. That's why you write down Ptolemy, so we pronounce it Ptolemy. So the P silent, but already in hieroglyphics, Ptolemy. So they put the P, they put the T, put the O, they put the M, they put it, and even at the end they put S. Why? As we mentioned before, already during the Greek time, they love to end the names with S. Tariq, Tariq. You know, Alexander, Alexandros. Ptolemy, Ptolemus. You know, whatever. Marcus, Marcus. I mean, anyway, he loves to end all of the names with S. That's why when you read the name, it's going to be Ptolemus, you know. Here, the other name tells is Ptolemy, you know, the number 6. So, putting his name also on, you know, because he finally see there's some other pharaohs they have done that, you know. That's why he's doing the same thing, put his name on. But that pylon originally made by Amenhotep III, but most of the cartouches and the scenes will be Ramses II, except some scenes, even up there is not there. Another pharaoh comes after, right after Hatshepsut. Okay? It's also put this some scenes of Ramses and put his name on the top of it. Now we're gonna get into the Hypostyle hall, which is the biggest hypostyle all over here.
Tarek, what is a hypostyle hall? What do you mean by hypostyle?
Okay. The hypostyle hall. That's all. That's originally how it should look like. By the way, guys, because you're not gonna see the ceiling. The ceiling doesn't exist anymore. But now this is like how it should be. Imagine that. There is a windows to the right and left hand side. This is the only way for the lights. They come through the temple like lines to make a pyramid shape.
Oh.
Because priestess, they come from right at the end of the temple, the hypostyle hall. And walking through all the way. That will be here totally dark. Because as you go inside the temple, the ceiling it starts to get lower and the ground gets higher to make the temple itself shaped as a pyramid shape. Okay? Why? That gives also more like holy of in your heart when you're stepping. It starts to get darker and smaller. That's why you are heading to the main part of the temple, the hypostyle hall. The image of the god is there, you know. That's why used to be here totally dark except this part while the lights come through the temple crust, make a pyramid shape, walking through the pyramid shape made by the lights through the temple. This part, the oldest part of the hypostyle. What hypostyle hall is? Hall with columns, including columns. Why including columns? To carry ceiling. That's for who? For priests. By the way, we said how you could be a priest in ancient time. At least you have to have a part of royal blood. When you have a part of royal blood, it means you are related to the pharaoh. It means you are related to who? To the god, because the pharaoh is the son of the god. That's why locals, nobles, they have to see the sky. Why? They don't have a real connection with the god. But priests, they don't need to see the sky. Why? They have a real connection in their blood. That's why they don't have to see the sky. That's why the hypostyle hall, you know, it's already made to carry a ceiling, you know, for the priests. Okay, and this anyway, the biggest, hugest one that exists all over Egypt. The biggest one, like the tallest columns, that's back to the time Amenhotep III. But then comes who building the rest of the columns? Seti I, father of Ramses II. Second pharaoh in 19th dynasty after Ramses I. Then they started the decorations on the ceiling, you know, on the left-hand side. Seti I. But then he died before he get able to finish the whole scenes. Who comes right after him? His son, Ramses II. That's why all of the scenes, Ramses II. Okay? That's why, but on the walls, not on the columns. All of the columns, Ramses II himself, except some columns, Ramses III and Ramses IV, they put their names on it as well, but mostly it's Ramses II. The scenes on the wall on the left-hand side will be Seti I. All of the scenes on the right-hand side will be Ramses II himself. Okay? So guys, now you see
Die Menschenkörper ab 2000 Felder.
right now you can get what we're talking about, removing the layers of the dust, and that's why they have done a great job, you know, removing that layers, you know, from over the scenes to go up the original, you know, on top of the ceiling. By the way, if you know, the only one like left a bit from, you know, like see guys, you see the windows that we were talking about.
Oh, that's where the light came.
Yeah.
Yes, this is how the light came through. Okay, you know, if you look
at the top?
right here, yes, up there, you know, because the whole thing, as we mentioned, used to have a ceiling. That's why, could you imagine what I'm talking about? It's like everything here is dark except the light come through those lines, you know, like straight lines crossing here, make it, you know.
And across here.
Yes, in this, you know, hall right here is this where they walk. The biggest columns, which has the open style, the papyrus, you know, flower. It's made by Amenhotep III, 18th dynasty. The rest of the columns in the other style, close the flower, you know, that's made by Seti I, but then decorated during the time of Ramses II, the son of Seti I, 19th dynasty. I mean, all this part is here, 18th dynasty, Amenhotep III, one of the richest time. Then the rest of the columns, Seti I, decorations on the columns, Ramses II, scenes on the walls, Seti I, scenes on the wall to your left-hand side, you know, will be Ramses II. There is a difference of the idea creating the scenes, yes. Quickly, we will see one here. We take one from there to see the difference of the art during the time of Seti and his son Ramses.
So those windows would be the windows along
Yes,
there.
yes.
Same as that
Same
side.
as here, but you know, they made it because they made this to give you an idea for how it should look like. They cannot do this for the whole thing because, as we said, that's called renovation. You cannot renovate the whole site. You will turn a site into a fake site. You know? Hundred and 34. That's why could you imagine how many priests they could fit here? So thousands and thousands of priests they could fit through this, hall here. By the way, now the difference of the art between Ramses II and his father Seti I. So where we are right now, Ramses or Seti? Seti. Yeah. So now I can show everybody. By the way, look at the art. Mostly you see the art of Ramses. They carve the details. But let's see, during the time of Seti, they carve around the details. That's why the details appear out.
Okay.
And that's why different type of art. Okay, that tells even there's like two different schools. Yes, you know, there is two different schools of the art between Seti I and his son Ramses II. That's why all of the scenes, look, all of the scenes all over in this hall, in this side, around the columns, it's already all of the scenes that here out. I mean, they start take out, carve around the, the scenes. But when we move to the other side, you will see already the scenes of Ramses is being carved into, the rocks or into the plaster for sure, because the quality of the stone here is not very high. That's why, see here, Seti I, and let's see, here, Khonsu, the god Khonsu, the god of the moon, so the son of Amun-Ra. You see, like a young guy with a crescent moon, sun, so this moon disk on the top. He's sketching the sticks, which is symbols for, power, which is was, power, and life, jet, stability. And he catch a pen to write down the name of Seti I, on this stick, which seems like a zigzag. Each one of those zigzag, it means a year. And he write down the name. Could you imagine how many ones? So he wish him for a long time. Even the stick, it ends with this symbol, which means infinity. Even wish him forever. And then Seti I here, you see, they catch the arms, so the hands together. Who is here? Mut, goddess Mut, the wife of Amun-Ra. She's presenting Seti I to her husband, the god Amun-Ra himself, as she's holding some offering and leading Seti to present him for Amun-Ra. That's to show off, as we said, the relationship between the god and the goddesses, and the pharaoh, that's why already the symbol of goddess Hathor with sunflowers, lotus, and papyrus to the god Amun-Ra. So now we move to the other side.
All these bugs. All the columns have them.
This?
Yeah, they're all over.
This is not bugs, that's B.
Alrighty.
B called in hieroglyphics BT, so B-I-T-I, T-Y, B-I-T-Y. BT, and this is called Nisu, Nisu BT. Nisu BT, it means what? Pharaoh of Upper and Lower. The Pharaoh of Upper and Lower Egypt. Okay? Then here, Neb-Khau. So Neb-Khau means the master of the rises, or the sunrise. And here starting the cartouche, which is being destroyed here. You could find it behind you. Here, Wisr, Ma'at, Ra, and then supposed to be seated in Ra. The strong justice of Ra, who choosing from the god Ra. You know, this is the name or first name of Ramses II. Second name is behind you here. Guys, you remember I told you like the duck is called the Sa is A. Then the sun disk is Ra, son of the god. We said there is another thing you can pronounce it Sa in hieroglyphics as well. Give the same sound, SA. The egg. It's called Sa. That's why if already I have a big space and I can put a duck and the sun disk, they put it. If they don't have a space, instead of the duck, they put the egg. We can see that? Yes, right here. Look at this. Look at this here. So here, Sa Ra. But if we look here, Sa Ra. The son of the god as well.
Oh, wow.
So could be an egg. If there is no here, I think there is no space to put the duck. That's why they put an egg instead, because the egg you pronounce it Sa, and the duck you pronounce it Sa in hieroglyphics. That's why that's Sa Ra, son of the god, and that's Sa Ra, son of the god.
So this prompts a question: which came first, the duck or the egg?
Ah, yes. That's a good one. So we see one of the scenes of like, just to, as we mentioned, to see the difference of the art between Ramses and his son, Seti and his son Ramses II. All of like, you know, here, like the scenes it's already carved into, you know, even if a paper is mostly cut into, you know, the walls. It's a different type of the art between Seti and Ramses. And even you see over here, guys, like as we mentioned, the holy parts or the holy boots. Now you can get to see it, like priests here, but while they are not wearing, you know, they are wearing the like a masks. Here wearing masks of the god Horus, god of the protection. Here wearing, you know, the masks of the jackal. Here the high priest, but who is the high priest? So here is the son of the pharaoh, you know, was working as a high priest wearing the animal skin. Then the pharaoh here, Ramses II, started burning the incense in front of the holy part of the god. Here who? Amun-Ra, we could know that from the ram head, okay? Then you got here the beautiful woman with the double crowns will be goddess Mut, his wife, over here, okay? Over here will be the falcon with the crescent moon and the sun. So the moon, that's Khonsu, the god of the moon. So the king of the gods, Amun-Ra, his wife, Mut, their son Khonsu. There's the three holy barks that you see, and even the replica of it when we entered, would use them during the Opet feast or opening the Sphinx opening. That's like show you that's a part celebration for the Opet feast, which is exist by Amenhotep III to celebrating, you know, the fertility and renew the energy of the god Amun-Ra. If we continue here, you can see one. Look at this. You see Ramses kneeling down, catching, you know, the sticks, symbol of reality and power. He's kneeling into the tree of life. Tree of life. And here God taught, God of knowledge, wisdom, scientist, catching his pen, writing down the name of the cartouche of the pharaoh in each one of the leaves of the trees. And as we said, each leaf means a year. That's why wishing him lots of years, because we cannot count how many leaves. Then he started receiving the symbol of the festival Hatshepsut from the god Amun-Ra, while behind him his wife Mut. She's holding more of the Hatshepsut as well to pass it to the pharaoh. Then behind them this, you know, Khonsu, the god of the moon, while he's catch all of the sticks of symbol of reality and power. Heka, and was, Ankh, then Jet. So that's, you know, reality, tower, life, stability. Okay? So So this is Stela is Camus. Camus is the son of second Ra, the first one, and he decided to fight the Hyksos, tried to push them. He's been killed during the fight, and we're gonna see his mummy in the National Civilization Museum. This is the first mummy we start with, second Ra. There is a famous lady, you know, the wife of second Ra. Her husband dead during the fight. She never gave up. She put so she started to push his oldest son, Camus. While later on he's been also assassinated by the Hyksos. She never gave up. She started to push the young son, Ahmos, and he's the one, you know, beat the Hyksos and he pushed them outside the country. That's why those the Castilla of Camus, the brother of Ahmos, which is already, like as we believe, this Ahmos is the pharaoh comes after the time of the prophet Joseph, you know? Because like Mr. Gabis asked me, like, could you think ever Egyptians they will give land? I said no. You know, all of the fight to save the land, you know? That's why to give land, I think this never happened from the Egyptian at all. Okay, so guys, over here we can see two obelisks. The two obelisks here are belongs to Moses the first, father of Queen Hatshepsut, and Hatshepsut herself. But Thutmose the first used to erecting two obelisks. One went as a gift. Second one, it's right in front of you here. This is Thutmose the first, father of Queen Hatshepsut. The one there back there is for Queen Hatshepsut herself. So we will tell the difference. For sure, Queen Hatshepsut one is bigger and higher and even heavier. But the idea is what the obelisk is. Okay, obelisk, as you see, it's one solid piece of stone, square base, start getting smaller to the top, ends with a pyramid shape. But what do you use it for? Do you know what you use it for?
Is it an Asherah pole?
Sorry?
Asherah pole? Like, so fertility or?
Okay, by the way, it's also like some idea. It's a symbol of the temple because you could see it from a long distance. That's why I guess way this is because it used to be right in front of the temple, but here is not right in front. We said Thutmose the third, so the first, and Hatshepsut, 18th dynasty. Stuff here is later 19th. That's why we said the temple as you go flew inside, you get to the old because it's starting from inside to outside, not from outside to inside. That's why here used to be pylons, and in front of the pylons, those, you know, obelisks. But the obelisk has to be one solid piece of stone. Why? That used to be covered from the top was electrum, like mix silver and gold.
Wow.
Okay. That pyramid shape at the top absorbed the energy from the sun, ground it through the bottom of, or the, you know, the body of the obelisk to the ground. That's why once you start to step into the temple, you start to have the connection with the God, you know. I mean, start get the energy, you know, from the God. That's why this is the reason why it has to be one solid piece of stone, no one single crack. Because if you have cracks, you will start to lose a lot of that power and energy. That's why there has to be one solid piece, no one single crack on it, that to make sure you grounded all of this to the earth. Okay? And as we mentioned, it's a symbol of the temple because it's a long way. You could see it from a long way. Even they erected to the symbol and also symbol of fertility as well. And that's been gifted for Amun-Ra because, as we said, he has to every year go to renew his power and energy because symbol of fertility, even for agriculture as well, because he's the helper of the agriculture. But let's see, that's erected to the gods. Let's see. By the way, there's some people would love to destroy the stuff of Queen Hatshepsut, but they cannot touch the obelisk of Queen Hatshepsut. Why? It's made and put in the temple, erected to the god Amun-Ra. I mean, now this is not belongs to Hatshepsut. This belongs to the god Amun-Ra himself. So I could imagine I can't touch it, doing anything on it. That's why pharaohs, they want to erase their time. What they do, instead of destroy it or cover or remove the scenes, they just build a building around it to hide it. But it's way too high. That's why they cannot get with the building that high. That's why, guys, if you come a little bit to the side here and you look and see the difference of the colors of the obelisk of Queen Hatshepsut herself. If you stand, I think over side here. Guys, you see there is a difference of the color of the rose granite or the red granite.
Oh, yeah.
You see, like a dark part and then a lighter part of the top. That tells the level of the building used to be until that place. That's why that makes the two different colors of the stones. That's why Queen Hatshepsut, she used to have two obelisks here. One still standing, the other one used to see a part of the building as well. Used to cover it as well. It's full of broken pieces. A part of the pieces that's there. The rest we're gonna see it right in front of the Holy Lake. Okay, right in front of the Holy Lake. We're gonna see the second part of that obelisk. But the obelisk is around 30 meters high, or just a little bit less than 30 meters high. 300 ton, one solid piece of, red granite stone. Red granite quarries, Aswan. Think about how they move this as one solid piece from Aswan up to here, 300 kilometers. So sail through the Nile River, but how they put it over the boat, how the boat will keep sailing, how they get it off of the boat, how they left it, here, how they put it over the base, I think that's a mystery. It's amazing, how they have done that there.
Magdi,
over here, the hieroglyphs is the only ones that you could see the cartouches of Queen Hatshepsut exist. Why it still exists? Because it's already was covered. That's why if you how the cartouche at the top, Maat in the middle, Ka the spirit, Rin Ra, Maat Ka Ra.
Oh, wow.
So we are here in the shade. So Thutmose III, while you see his cartouches behind you, guys, right here is the cartouches of Thutmose III, the stepson of Queen Hatshepsut, Min Khivr Ra, okay? Tot, you got Tot, so the evil spirit, the evil spirit, Tot. This is Miss Thutmose. So, and this is the A, the other is Z, so Thutmose, okay? By the way, that's Thutmose, the third. Thutmose III, the stepson of Queen Hatshepsut. You remember, we already saw Hatshepsut, she pushed him in a military school. That's why, that helps him a lot. He's considered one of the best warrior ever in ancient time. He went through how many campaigns? 17 campaigns, he never lose.
Wow.
That's why some Egyptologists, they call him Ancient Napoleon. You know? Because he's already, imagine, he rise up since he was 6 years, 10 years old in a military school. So he became like the general of the military during the time of Hatshepsut. Then he find, now I have the experience and I have power, and I think I should be the pharaoh from the beginning. But you know, so my time comes right now. That's why every pharaoh wait for the enemies and just like fight to protect the country. But Thutmose, he said, I'm not gonna wait for them to come. I'm gonna beat all of the enemies and like push them away. That's why after his time he left a huge empire. Because you imagine, went through 17 campaigns, he didn't lose ever. Mixed tricks in the war. That's why in the campaigns and the fight. That's why you see here how he even impressed and improved that, how strong he is to show off. He's standing up there, putting all of the countries, cities, towns, he's controlling them under his feet. Same thing on the other side, guys. Same thing you will see. That used to be the pylon, so he's never feel enough just beating, show off, like smash enemies. So I'm gonna put all of them under my feet, so everything is under the control. So that guy went. That's why I know some other pharaohs, they have also reasons to destroy the name of Queen Hatshepsut and destroying their scenes as Hur Muhab. They don't like the idea of female pharaoh. Ramses II, same concept. Akhenaten, because of the religion cause, you know. That's why, you know, but here you see to your right and left hand side, you know, all of the cities, towns, countries that, you know, they want to through the, you know,
Sorry, Dawn. It's okay if I just walk through. Thank you.
Then here, over here to your right and left hand side, you will see a beautiful statue of the Amun-Ra and his wife Mut, but they are in the face or features of King Tutankhamun himself. You remember we said even if a statue of a god, he loves to make it by his own feature. He's a baby pharaoh. That's why he loves doing this. I would love to see my image all over, everywhere. That's why but we believe, even those they said Tutankhamun, but let's see, we believe that was made already by Thutmose III. Then Tutankhamun, he loves them, he put his name on them. But you see the columns contains the two symbols of Upper and Lower Egypt, papyrus and lotus flower. So the papyrus and the lotus flower. Okay? The Holy of the Holiest, or the sanctuary, or the holiest part of the temple. The most important part, imagine that room, it is the most important, yes, because it's the one has the image of the god, the statue, has, you know, as well, the shrine used to contain, you know, the image, used to have a place for that rock to place the holy book, the holy god, carry that shrine, including the, you know, the image of the god, or the statue of the god. That's why, that's for sure here in the but structures behind older guys, that's Middle Kingdom. You know, Middle Kingdom, but that's here in the III. But you know, it's made out of red granite stone. Ceiling used to have decorated by the stars. You know, see the blue with the stars represented goddess Nut, N-U-T, goddess of the sky. By the way, here you see it's more green.
Sorry.
You didn't feel the sun that much. Do you know why? You have two ceiling and a space between them. That's why that's actually made for the purpose, you know. It's like avoid the heat. That's why this is the reason why you felt once you step, it's cool and nice here. Because, by the way, could you imagine if this has one ceiling and red granite? That would be like Yeah. So we'll be mixed grilled if we stand right here. That's why they get like 2 levels of ceiling, a space between them to avoid the heat from, the same thing happened for the walls. 2 walls, space between them, avoid the heat. Okay?
Taryn, are you sure that that ceiling is safe?
Do you know, like, this could carry like a huge weight, like tons and tons. I don't know. This could carry a lot of tons. That's why, yeah, maybe, but it could be safe. So right now we are heading to see the Holy Lake. Okay. So the Holy Lake.
The Holy Lake.
Yes, or the sacred lake, where we used to walk to the southeast end. So everybody come, and follow me here. You cannot see me, you can see the top of that small obelisk, which is a part of the obelisk of Queen Hatshepsut. It used to be right here as well, next to the next one of Queen Hatshepsut. Okay, this one, as we said, that used to be over there. So that's just a part of the obelisk. It used to be big as the other one. But, it's for Queen Hatshepsut as well, because she's erecting 2 obelisks. One is still standing, the other one was already collapsed and divided, broken into pieces. We've seen a part of it back there, and this is the rest of the top of the obelisk of Queen Hatshepsut, while she used to be there inside the building that they built it around it to hide it. Over there, guys, you see a big scarab beetle, Amenhotep III. Scarab beetle, symbol of good luck, happiness, resurrection, but big scarab beetles like that, people used to go around it 7 times to make the wishes come true in ancient time. By the way, even today you will find some people still go around the scarab beetle here to make the wishes come true. This is the biggest scarab beetle being found all over Egypt, Amenhotep III. Over here you see the Holy Lake. This is where, as we said, they used to wash themselves before the pray, which is they fill it now by the water, from the groundwater. Okay. But it gives you an idea for how it should be. Back in time, thousands of years ago, priests used to come here, to baptism, then go pray. So right now, guys.